I want to make the point and then pivot to what I think is important to talk about, and I'm sure the gentleman will agree. But in the context, it matters, right? What we fund matters. If we're funding the Department of Homeland Security to utterly fail to secure the homeland and endanger our own people and empower migrants to be able to actually flood in and get dumped into the United States, including the individual who was paroled into the United States and killed Laken Riley, including the individuals who were dumped into the United States and shot those 2 police officers in New York just last week, including the individual who killed a woman named Elizabeth Medina in my own state, killed her, mom found her in the bathtub, she's supposed to be cheerleading on the streets. I can give example after example. We're funding that. We're funding the DHS that does that. We're funding the FBI that has been politicized against the former president, against our own people like Scott Smith and Mark Houck and other people around the country. We're politicizing the FBI and the Department of Justice that is using the FACE Act to put a 75-year-old woman in jail for 2 years for praying at an abortion facility. You are paying for that, ladies and gentlemen. You, the American taxpayer, are paying for that. And guess what? With all due respect to my Republican colleagues, both Democrats and Republicans are funding it. And they're funding it, and they come down and they say, well, we have a duty to do that. Our Democratic colleagues will say, we must do all these things. You're politicizing this. You're making this. My Republican colleagues will say, well, Chip, of course we would like to do that. Of course we would like to fix it. But you don't understand. You can't do math. We have a razor-thin majority. We can't possibly get it done. By the way, when do they ever talk about the razor-thin majority in the Senate, which exists? Right? And one last point. Has my friend from Pennsylvania heard the same issues? I've already heard, I won't say who, I've already heard very important members of this body in terms of their rank in committee already talking about the fact that no matter what happens in November, if we win the White House, and President Trump is in the White House, if we win the House of Representatives, even grow our majority, if we win back the Senate and have a majority of 2, 3, 4, depending on how you go look at the scoreboard, that we will not have 60 votes. So you're told, unless you can do something on reconciliation, which is a maneuver for all you Americans out there to find a way to bend around the 60 vote threshold of the Senate, well, then you're just stuck. We're sorry. You just have to accept it, Chip.